It's week 3. It's last minute, 1 hour before kickoff. We're here to answer your start sit questions, give you all the late breaking news for who's active, who's inactive, what are the injuries that we're worried about. Let's get right into it. Welcome to the Fantasy Sanctuary, folks. I am your humble host, Emo Cowboy, aka Tyler. Welcome in. Let's get into it. Let me pull up the Underdog NFL Twitter page so we can get right into who's active, who's inactive, what are the injuries we're worried about. How's it going, everybody? Good to see everyone here. GM, and good morning and good afternoon or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Rob Warner, what's up? Glazed Tenders, what's up? Elite username. All right, so here's the deal, folks. We got an hour before kickoff. We're all worried about who's in, who's out, what are the injuries we're worried about, who do I start? I don't know. Drop them in the chat. Gonna get to all of them and get you all set up. How's it going? Good morning, James. Appreciate you. Robert Griffin III, as usual. What's up, folks? I know lots of folks are also probably going to be a little bit curious about DFS stuff. I'm going to give you everything I can as far as projected points and last minute rankings changes, as well as the health stuff. But I've got a couple questions in the chat, so we're just going to hit those before we start just covering general stuff. Nick Yoon said need some help. Full PPR, 0.25 per first down. Start to McLaurin, Keon, QJ, Najee, or Romeo Dobbs. Terry scares me, hasn't put up more than 8 points. Okay, so definitely Najee for sure. QJ's workload with a Justin Herbert is active, but they said 2 days ago that they expect a run-heavy approach. The Pittsburgh defense has been pretty stifling. So QJ definitely more of like a flash in the pan, really good, outcome the previous week. Definitely say you want to see more from him before you just go chasing those 2 touchdowns. Keon similarly getting all the routes, but not really getting the workload. And McLaurin's kind of in the same boat, but McLaurin, at the minimum is getting potentially some squeaky wheel narrative with, Cliff Kingsbury saying we got to get him going. We got to figure out what we're going to do with him. So, and then I don't think you can start Romeo with Malik Willis. The Tennessee defense is pretty stout. He was kind of Malik's go-to guy there, but I think McLaurin and Najee are your go-to guys, and you really hope that Terry and Cliff kind of get linked up and start cooking. That would be my lean there. I understand if you want to just go Keon as far as, hey, untapped potential. But, he's done even less. And against the Jaguars tomorrow night, they've been able to pretty much do whatever they want on the ground, and they haven't really been pushed. And I don't expect the Jaguars to push them enough to really have to utilize Keon. So, McLaurin and Najee there. Rob Warner coming in hot. PPR, half point, tight end premium. Yoshivas, Spears, Colby Parkinson. Vomit emoji indeed. I don't think so you're looking for one of these 3, then T. Higgins being active definitely makes Yoshi less attractive. That said, he's been strong in camp, and then coming into the season, he gets his touchdown game last week. But that Washington matchup is really nice. This looks like a very good get right spot for the entire offense. T. Higgins saying he's feeling 100%. We've heard that bullshit before. We've seen T. Higgins kind of used as a decoy at less than 100% health. Jeff Mueller and Edwin Porras, who we will be referencing a lot today on the stream, have noted that he's got about a 20% re-injury risk for that hamstring. So I'd say let me start that. I don't think you can play Spears because coming in with an ankle injury and working at basically is the change of pace back. Pollard's the RB1 there right now as far as rushing and pass work goes. Colby Parkinson running all the routes, but not really getting targeted much. San Francisco should push them a lot. That said, they've had all week to kind of game plan and get involved. Guys like Jordan Whittington and Tyler Johnson and D-Rob working as like the main guys. So I'd say it's Yoshi Voss for me, Colby Parkinson, second. I don't think you can play Spears. I think they're going to limit. I think Jeff Mueller mentioned he had a really good note. And again, if you're not, let me just go ahead and swap. If you're not following Jeff Mueller or Edwin Porras on Twitter, you're missing out a lot. They are ahead of the game as far as early in the week injuries of who's likely not to go and who is. And he noted, let me see, he caught some coach speak about protecting Spears from himself. So I definitely don't think you can. Yeah, here we go. Callahan interviews wanting to quote quote protect Spears. He's also coming in with an ankle sprain. So his read of the situation is definitely more shy away than not. And that's even before we talk about the workload. So I'd say Yoshi Voss, if you want to try to chase that tight end premium, Colby Parkinson. I just don't think that he's that strong of a play right now, given how little pass game work he's getting involved. The O-line, quick passes, that seems like it's going to be a Whittington, D-Rob, Tyler Johnson game. They need guys that can do yak, and Colby, not a yak guy. All right, James Young asking, Jonnu Smith or Foster Moreau? 0 scoring, so I'm going to assume half PPR. This is a yikes. Foster Moreau's usage was down, if I recall correctly. Let's go to the My Fantasy Live utilization report so I can confirm. Obviously, the matchup is more enticing, and with Taysom being out, that's definitely more interesting than not. That said, I lean Jonnu, but let me double check the utilization real quick for you. I'm going to do my due diligence here for you. Let's see, there we go. Saints, and I want tight ends. Yeah, Foster Moreau through 2 weeks, definitely out targeting, but only 11%. 13% of the air yards. And then I was hoping to get his snaps. I still lean Jonnu, though, just because they're going to have to lean on the quick passing, the yak stuff, and they should be pushed by this, pretty efficient Seattle offense. So I think he's just gonna get more work. If anything, if you're playing Foster over him, you're hoping and praying for a touchdown. I think Jonnu can at least get 3 to 4 targets. He got a lot of targets last week. He may get even more if they just really low ADOT. The game plan. And his snaps increased by 3% last week, but they didn't have to lean on him at all. So versus Philly, Jonnu's at least showed he's got a sort of game plan. And hey, get him the ball, let him do yak. I think you got to go Jonnu. Foster's just touchdown hunting, which that's a lot of tight ends, but I think Jonnu can at least get 3 to 4 targets, and maybe he gets you 30 to 40 yards at minimum. Nick Yoon back with a start set PPR pick 1. Wandale, Downs, Leggett, or Jawan. Definitely not Jawan. We just talked about how Saints tight ends. If it's not tight end premium, we're not going that way. Leggett has a sneaky narrative with I want to say the ETR guys found that backup quarterbacks do tend to throw more to the backup receivers, and Leggett was running more with the 2s in camp. The Raiders matchup is really nice for giving away I think they're last in the league versus play action passing across the board, and Canales used it a lot last year with Tampa Bay. So sneaky good matchup for all the guys across the board. That said, you want to say Downs because he's outproduced last year and had a super strong camp. He's coming off the ankle injury. We don't expect anything more than a 10% production dip this week and 0% next week without any sort of re-injury. That said, I think you got to go Wandale for PPR targets until we see how things are going to flesh out with the Colts guys. It's going to be hard to see. Pittman's coming in limited with a calf and a back. So he does have a higher re-injury risk and leaving, but because he's coming into the game fresh and he does have a higher first down target share, there might not be a lot left on the bone if they ease Downs in at all, given that they do have A.D. Mitchell. So, and it seems like Wandale has surpassed Hyatt and Slayton in the pecking order. Playing against Cleveland, Cleveland should have a pretty soft matchup versus this defense. Clevta on Twitter betting and gambling and analysis site noted that this defense that Watson's gone against in the past, he's had some of his best outcomes and production profiles. So we do expect that potential Cleveland pushes New York a little bit more. So I'd say Wandale. But if you want to just make a blind bet on talent and say that Downs can do a lot with a little, if you're comfortable with 3 targets and chasing a deep touchdown, because we've seen Alec Pierce do that, and Downs is a better version of the Alec Pierce profile. I'd say Downs. DFS Leggett is an interesting sneaky cheap play with that backup to backup connection. But again, from as far as your managed leagues, I think you got to go Wandale. I would not blame you for just saying, hey, if Josh Downs is healthy, Josh Downs is a smash play with a deep passing profile. Good morning, MDS. What's up? Nick Ewan can also swap out Jonnu to play a second one of them. No, I don't think Jonnu over anyone but Juwan or Leggett makes sense. Ashley Perry, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Also, if I answer your question, please like and subscribe. We do this type of thing all the time here. Awesome content, DFS, fantasy, best ball, dynasty, Tom, Rich, and myself all week long, giving you awesome content, waiver wire stuff, start sit stuff, last minute start sit, DFS, members only stuff, premium content. Discord's awesome. So if you're getting your question answered, please hit the like, please hit subscribe, support the channel. We're doing great work here, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Some music. Owen? Depends on what other options you have. I like Jordan Whittington to potentially be the best, high ceiling target earner coming into, because we heard all offseason from Jordan Rodriguez that Whittington was producing as he was operating as the Cooper Kupp, Puka backup role. Coming into this season, Tyler Johnson kind of came in as, Tyler Johnson's Puka's backup. Now that Kupp is out for at least 4 weeks, potentially more. This is Jordan Whittington's time to shine. We saw in preseason that he was one of the 5 rookies to earn a really high target share. I believe Sam Sherman and a few others pointed this out and found that there was some pretty good sticky signal positively and negatively for the tail ends of very good target earner and yards per route run guy versus really poor. Jordan Whittington was in the top 3. So I definitely think he's in play as a flex play. He's obviously got a thin floor because we haven't seen it yet, but he did come in and operate. He came in once the game was kind of at hand. He and Corum came in at the same time. So, and that we haven't seen a lot of coach speak on anything about this. But if you're in kind of desperation mode, Witt's a pretty good desperation play. His floor is 3 targets, not doing that much for you, but if someone's going to get 8 to 12 targets in this game and we just put them out and actually help the offense move along, I do believe it's going to be Whittington. B-Rob is more safe, steady play, but his feelings are pretty capped. Same thing with Tyler Johnson, more reactive. I see you. Nick Ewan saying it's 0.75 tight end premium. You were asking about the Wandale. At that point, I understand. I'd still say it's Wandale Downs then Jonnu before Leggett or Juwan, with that being the case. This is fine. What up? Good morning to Cowboy. Good evening to Tom. Good evening to Rich as well. We love you. This is fine. How you doing? We set the moon historical. We set the moon. Yeah, I finally started fooling around with the music. We got the Muzak. Immaculate vibes. I hope the volume's good. Tom was telling me it was a little loud. So I'm gonna turn it up on my end because I'm in silence. All right, Ashley Perry saying, appreciate the advice. Whittington will be a desperate play in a number of my leagues, naively considering him ahead of Cruz in one league and Pittman in another. And I don't blame you, right? Because Pittman's coming in with a calf and back injury and has been very poor despite a lot of volume. And he's got re-injury risk, and we've seen with the calf stuff that that's you're with Russ, with Devo, with DMC, RIP. That once that's aggravated, you're out. So there's a risk he leaves the game totally. That's 20 to 30%. role at the back, so could miss some plays, could miss a lot of time if he injures anything. He's not, even if he stays in the game full time, Downs kind of lowers the ceiling of everybody because now there's one more target earner coming in, but as well as the pie was already really small. It was just high value targets that only really Pierce has been able to attack. With Christian Kirk, I totally get it because the offense just looks out of sync. And we know the Rams will have to throw to stay in the game. And if they're getting blown out, well, it seems like when they're getting blown out, they put in guys like Corum and Whittington in, and they take guys like Tyler Johnson out. So I think Whittington's got some outs for he just starts hot and they're more competitive in the game and sticking with it, and he earns it, or he just gets some garbage time stuff. I don't know about Christian Kirk. I think that might be a little too cute because against the Bills just pushing them. And Ingram being out another week, I think you gotta roll with Kirk because they just might finally ditch the run game, go for the pass, figure it out on the 3 wide receiver sets. But I definitely get playing it over like a Pittman, who is a more of a risk. I've sat Pittman in a lot of my leagues that I have a chance, and I understand the appeal of Whittington. So I don't blame you. All right, well, we're waiting for questions to roll in. Let me go through, make sure everybody's aware of who's in, who's out, and then we can kind of talk through some of the injury stuff we've already kind of touched on. Russ Wilson inactive, so all wheels up for Fields, especially in managed. Looks like he's got the reins until further notice. They're not even using Russell Wilson as like an emergency QB, which means injury is likely worse, and or it's their excuse to not even bother. Roman Wilson similarly out, so your Van Jefferson, your Calvin Austin, start DFS plays are back on the board. Sucks for the big board bags, early draft bags. Josh Palmer out with an elbow and a calf. Already a tough matchup, already a run-heavy approach for the coaches and expectation for the Chargers. So this is QJ and Ladd get more wheels up for potential, lack of competition, but I think we should not expect the pass volume to increase, and the pass efficiency should be really poor given Herbert's going to be kind of hobbled with his plantar fasciitis and a high ankle sprain. He's expected to play. If he gets knocked out and Easton Stick comes in, it's going to be tough sledding. The Steelers' offense likely trying to control the ground game as well, so it's just hard to trust any pass catchers there. But they both, QJ and Ladd, are more palatable dart throw targets, just because if anyone's going to pop, should be one of them. Pittman active, but like I said, back and calf, so a little bit thin there. Jordan Love, as expected, inactive. So Malik Willis in a heavy one game approach versus a pretty good Tennessee defense is on tap. You're welcome, Ashley. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate you very much coming in and getting your questions answered. Appreciate having me around. Unless you're one of the Ashleys is already a Discord member, I don't remember. I don't see the member tag, but yeah, there's like over 100 going to Discord, and I'm still learning it. Tom saying Lockett or Downs? What we saying? I'm going Downs. We've seen Tyler Lockett be leaned on more as just the deep passing guy, and we've just seen JSN's breakout game. Everybody's falling over themselves. Talk about the slot receiver versus Miami thing, and if anyone's going to come and claim a role, it's going to be Downs. We don't expect Seattle to be pushed. We could see them throttle down with the run game, not really doing a whole lot with Charbonnet. If Tua was playing, you could play. I'd play Lockett as like a shootout potential, but it's definitely Downs because they need to get AR clicking. They need to get this offense working. They need to beat Chicago to stay in the divisional race. And to me, that just let's lean on the guys that work and with the whole, again, his outs are being very good and being fully healthy, doing more with less on the deep stuff, taking over Pierce's role completely or A.D. Mitchell's role completely. They can also try to manage Pittman. Downs is a lot more outs than Lockett, especially with Miami potentially being way worse against the slot because they're a little better on the outside guys. And Lockett's efficiency has been kind of down. This is fine asking George Pickens, great play or greatest play? I'm playing him where I've got him. It's just going to suck because you were hoping they'd be pushed, and now it's like, well, they're not going to get pushed playing into their strength, which is defending the run. So, see, Tom was just testing. So yeah, Pickens is, as we all are aware, most likely, Pickens earning a large portion of the pass pie. It's just not a big pie. How many times can I say pie before I get booted off the stream? But they have had a couple big plays called back, just missing. They're kind of avoiding the middle of the field in matchups where the linebacker is really strong. They've admitted that. So he's going to be volatile just because of the role he plays and also lack of pass volume, obviously. But he and Fields do have a really strong connection. And this could be a week where they get off just because, hey, we're not going to be pushed by this team at all. That said, I'm still worried they're going to be pretty conservative because they're not going to be pushed and it's early in the season and they're just trying to rack up some wins if they can. But he's definitely a stronger play than some of the other more close options. I'd probably be playing Pickens over. I would understand playing him over like a Christian Kirk, like some of the other guys we mentioned. All right, let's keep going. Let's see, make sure we didn't miss anything. This is all, yesterday's news. So Kittle and Taysom out, Ingram out for tomorrow. Note for tomorrow night, Brenton Strange earned basically all the work that Ingram came. We've seen that kind of happen before. Pretty decent profile when he came out in college, and for you Dynasty nerds. So if you need for you folks asking about like the tight end premium options, if Brenton Strange is on your waiver wire, I am dropping and starting him in my flex or my tight end spot over the Jonnu, Juwan, Foster Moreau types. I think I'd only be playing guys like Gesicki and Hunter Henry over him. I know Hunter Henry already played, but I'm saying like those types of profiles. I think Brenton Strange is a very strong guy to get 5 to 7 targets in this matchup and buoy you a little bit better than some of those other guys. Cali Trader, why the fuck you have music playing? Do you hate the music playing, Cali Trader? It's either silence and me talking, or there's a little bit of music. I'm sorry the music offends you. A few people like it. If you don't like it, make a request. You didn't even ask a question. You just came in here and bitching about music. Sorry to offend your ears. I like music. I like having something on. I can just play like nonstop fart sounds in here. If you want to just hear me talking, this very mediocre voice made for silent movies talking nonstop, go for it. Ashley Perry back with another question. Full PPR. Which two from James Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara? Cook and Kamara or PPR, for sure. Cook has been getting a lot of strong work, and their matchup is very nice, and his goal line work is making him an explosive play. We've seen him be he's continued to be a really good target earner. Derrick Henry losing target and passing downs to Justice Hill, who just got a 2-year extension. So definitely Cook and Kamara, who is the smash of all smashes. Don't overthink it. Yeah, just loop the nut button all morning. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. All right, this is fine. Asking full PPR, Jalen Warren or Pittman. I mean, this is too cute, right? This is too cute. I like Warren as much as the next guy. I think you gotta go Pittman, but I totally get where you're coming from. My God, that's tough. If it was Jalen's like normal workload, it'd be one thing. He did get 2 receptions last week. They're gonna be heavy run game. He got 9 attempts last week. Was very efficient with them. I think you still got to go Pittman. I understand the temptation. I understand it. If Michael Pittman's healthy and he gets fed like he gets fed, I still think you got to play him in PPR. Because it's still Arthur Smith. I think we saw him admit, okay, if Warren's completely healthy, we don't play Cordell Patterson. But if they start blowing out this sad sack Chargers offense with a hobbled Herbert or Easton Stick at quarterback, and then we just throttle down with old man CPAT, you're going to be punching air. This is what it does. And there's a chance with Downs back that I know Downs was kind of more operated as a slot guy, but we could see more of like a creative rotation of all 4 guys with Pierce, Pittman, Downs, and AD. And it might help them just attack matchup better. And there's a chance that he just gets a random touchdown because he's a first root target share and they run in the inside. This is why we have music for these moments of silence. I would also be scared to, yeah, just because your total volume is going to be low. I logically projected, those all make sense. I understand the line. I really do. But all right, glad I could share shit posting on Twitter with all y'all. Let's go through some of the PT notes I wanted to share with y'all that I was consuming this morning. Looks like they're definitely going to carry 3 QBs for Herbert. He's got high re-injury risk with the mobility deficits, and we've already been told they're going to have a really heavy run game plan. I'm not. I don't think this is shocking to anyone, but he's been a pretty low floor, low ceiling play the last 2 weeks. We do not expect that to get any better this week. Should not be in your lineups unless it's, Andy Dalton type, and even then, I'm probably starting Andy Dalton pretty confidently. Speaking of Andy Dalton, I think your Chuba Hubbards and your Deontay Johnsons much more alive, obviously. But if you were worried about it, I think the Raiders are going to be able to do whatever they want against this hapless, no D-line having Panthers team, and thus the Panthers should have to be pushed. I would not be surprised at all if we see a pretty decent spike in both play volume and play efficiency with Andy Dalton under center. I'm not going to say he's going to do what he did last time, which is 300 and something yards and multiple touchdowns. But I definitely think your wide receiver 1, running back 1 have a lot more forward to them than previously. Like I said, Jeff Mueller noted the Tajay Spears protect him from himself. No, but he's not had nearly as much workload as Pollard has had, and he's coming with an ankle sprain. T. Higgins has about a 15 to 20% re-injury risk with the soft tissue juicy matchup with Washington, so just be aware of that. This happened late in the week. Greg Dortch popped up limited with a hamstring Friday. And so everybody was frothy for the slot versus the Lions thing. The problem is late season injury plus it's a hamstring. He's got a much higher re-injury risk in game, and so it makes him a little bit tough to do. And if he misses any time, I think that just boosts the inside looks that McBride operating at the slot could see. So be aware of that. Thomas Radke, welcome to the chat. Hit the like, hit the subscribe as I answer your start sit question. Half PPR, half first down. Xavier Worthy, Amari Cooper, or Jalen Warren. Ooh, okay, so it's definitely between Worthy or Cooper. For the first down against Atlanta, I think you have to chase the usage with Cooper in a matchup that Watson's likely to have a better game against, because it's going to be blitz heavy, first read stuff. I lean Cooper because the Worthy stuff, it still is not quite flowing through Worthy as far as utilization. Let me pull up the My Fantasy Life utilization. I keep forgetting to subscribe. I need to subscribe to get all the other stuff. Obviously, Hollywood still being out is good for all their floor stuff, but as far as targets are concerned, he's not seeing an absurd amount of targets. It's more of the ADOT and the air yards that's really, really nice, as opposed to Cleveland, where Cooper's seeing 21% of the targets, 35% of the air yards, and a really healthy ADOT. So I think you just keep chasing the usage. Elijah Moore was kind of used as like just a quick outlet last week, and should be fine. But when this hits, it's going to hit hard. He's been super close between a few misses with Watson, which I know, but then also just like two brutal drops, 2 long touchdowns. So I definitely would advise Cooper. And of course, I fucking closed it out like a dumbass. All right. Cali boy just came in to complain and then disappeared. Gotta love it. All right, 30 minutes before kickoff. Got any more start sits or any questions? Let's just keep going through the injury stuff. Make sure I didn't miss anything for the good people. I think that's it for his Twitter account. I wanted to check Edwin's real quick as well. I don't think he had anything not behind his paywall. Yeah, okay. So let me go back to the Underdog active. Make sure I'm not missing anything late in breaking. I'm not. So in the background, I am going to go to the paywall injury database and make sure I'm not missing any little tidbits for y'all that could be helpful. Let's see. Justin Jefferson fine with the quad. AJ Brown's probably back next week. Debo's probably out for 2 weeks. Ferguson back. Oh, FYI to folks, Ferguson being back, but with the MCL sprain, he's historically he's expected to get a 15 to 20% production dip. So he's going to go back to his same role, but don't expect. He was never really a yak guy to begin with, and don't be surprised if you see a little less than normal production out of him, given an expected historical dip coming off that injury. Evan Ingram probably going to be back next week, but potentially week 5, depending on how severe it was. Schultz fine. Njoku might be back by week 4 or 5. Let's go through the injury designations. I'm looking. Josh Jacobs off the injury report. Najee was a rest day. Aaron Jones was full practice Friday. Pierre Strong out once again. So Foreman a nice, interesting dart. Really took over much more of Jerome Ford's workload, getting some of the goal line stuff. So sneaky strong running back desperation dart if you didn't get a guy like Cam Akers off waivers. What's up, best ball guy? How you doing, bud? All right, he's going to send guys. He's asking bench 2 of these guys half PPR. All right, we waited with bated breath. Rashad White was full practice. He's still seeing some of the work to Bucky, but that was kind of when he got a groin injury. So we'll be interested to see how the workload shifts between Bucky and Rashad this week. Tank Bigsby was limited all week, but expected to be playing. Addison out, so bump to Naylor. Someone had a good coach speak note that Naylor is playing per KOC, the TJ Hawkinson role, so his red zone role is stronger than maybe his underlying usage suggests. Okay. Bench 2 between Sutton, Swift, Akers, Singletary, Higgins. I think you got to bench Sutton just because that offense looks so poor, and the report coming out this week is they're going to try to run it through the running backs this week to try to get on track. So I think you can't trust Sutton with that offense right now. So that's an easy bench. I lean bench Swift because he's been so poor despite a really good matchup. He's been so poor, and Homer's out, which means Roschon Johnson might come in and eat a little bit more of the third down work if Herbert's not already getting it. I think Akers' volume set up nicely, Singletary volume and matchup set up nicely, and Higgins risky, but that boom bust matchup hard to say no to. I think I'd bench Sutton and Swift in half. All right. Well, we're on questions. I'll keep going through the injury report, consolidated report in Jeff Mueller's paid database. Really, really cheap, really affordable. Highly recommend. He tracks all the stuff, and easiest way to get all your stuff. Xavier Worthy was full practice, no limitations, good to go. Then it was CeeDee Lamb. Von Vele was inactive this week despite getting 2 full practices with a rib injury, so that was interesting. Maybe Marvin Mims gets a little bit more work today, but again, I would expect and he's a big guy. Just wanted to know there. Got a couple tracks coming in. Look at us. Look at us, just a green basketball guy. Why isn't that letting me pull this up? There we go. Lag. That's what we do. Handshake man. Lucas Faraco. Welcome in. Hit like, hit subscribe. I'm about to answer your question. Hot Navy right here. I'm assuming, because you didn't tell me, I'm going to assume half PPR. And if that's the case, good question. But I think with Josh Downs coming in, Naylor is the easy answer. He's playing the T.J. Hawkinson role. Jordan Addison out again this week, and a pretty good matchup for Naylor and Jefferson against this Houston secondary. They're gonna be pressuring a lot, and so Jefferson and Naylor should get some pretty quick hot reads. Yep, look at me assuming correctly. Yeah, I think Naylor's role pretty safe, pretty solid. Hard to go against it. Pierce. If one of Pittman or Downs wasn't playing, I totally understand playing Pierce, but now with all 4 here, the questionable health, you gotta go Naylor. Naylor, barely know her. I'm gonna keep making that joke until I die. Until. Yeah, so the note with Naylor is that through 2 games, only seeing 10% targets, but that was including 1 game with Addison where he played, and he is seeing a 17.8 ADOT, which is higher than both Jefferson and Addison, and he's seeing 21% targets. So he's a super solid play. No problem. You're welcome, Lucas. Thanks for coming in. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit the subscribe. We're here helping all the time. Manage, DFS, Best Ball Resurrection right around the corner. DraftKings Best Ball. Then you've got Dynasty, Tom and Rich and myself bringing you all the content you need. And then if you want your start sits throughout the week and trade advice and roster reviews, you can join the Discord. It's become a member for just $1 or £1, depending where you're at. Since the Fantasy Sanctuary is the home of fantasy sports in the UK. For $1 a month, you can join, become a member here, jump in the Discord, get all the premium access to stuff. And, Tom, Rich, and I are answering your questions and giving you advice, as well as a lot of sharp folks in the Discord. So highly recommend it if you're looking for a little bit more active, week-long engagement, as well as the channel. We've already released waiver wire start sit on Thursday, going through all the maps, like basically a matchup worksheet, and leaving your questions in the YouTube chats. We're answering all the time, trades, roster reviews, as well in the Discord. So super awesome. Don't miss out. This is fine. Asking, drop Juwan Jennings to stash Khalil Herbert in half PPR. Absolutely. Herbert could just get more work. Last week he already got a little bit more work. He's already seeding, so Swift is already seeding some stuff. Now with Homer out, There's more of a role open. If anything happens to Swift, boom, we know Herbert's good, and we know Swift is not good right now in this offense. I'm always pro dropping these like ancillary pieces that are not like even Juwan this week. The next 2 weeks he's got awesome. With Kittle out this week, potentially next week because it was a late week, and Debo out for at least 2 weeks. Like this is his time to shine. That said, we expect Jacob Cowing to get some work. John Lynch talked about he expects Cowing to get some opportunity this week. Rizzy Pearsall out for at least another 2 weeks, but still, it's like Juwan he's not a target earner, and he's still more of like a slot only guy. So even with this like nut outcome runway, it's versus this week, a matchup they don't have to try at all. Jordan Mason, Brandon Ayuk should just eat. And at the end of the day, these backup running backs or these like standalone guys with like high upside, we just see those guys matter way more often long term league wide. So it might feel safe to have a Juwan there, but are you really starting him unless you're down bad because you're out Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown, and Debo? I'm starting Jalen Naylor over Juwan Jennings this week. And this is fine. Sending a cheers super chat, $5. Much appreciated. Really appreciate it. This is fine. Good luck this week and today in all your adventures. Luke is back with a question. Dowdle or Zeke? I have Dowdle, but opponent has Zeke, half PPR. I mean, asking me like which I like better, which you should start. I mean, as far as role, Dowdle has been getting a little bit more of the work, earned some really solid targets last week. Let me go over here so I can talk through what I am seeing. So we've seen that they're pretty much splitting snaps and rush attempts right down the middle. Rico, like I mentioned, seeing a little bit more of the target work. And as far as like valuable work, I'd say that it probably leans more on Zeke, but Zeke is doing less with that. That said, both are kind of underperforming. So I prefer Dowdle because he looked stronger in camp. He's looked slightly stronger now, and there's a chance that they kind of just trust him more with stuff. Neither one's that good as long as both are active, but both have really high contingent upside if either misses time. So I definitely think I prefer Dowdle there. And as far as a start, I'd say Zeke's got the goal line roll, so I think you have to give it a little bit to Zeke. But Dowdle's got a little bit more juice. Gun to my head telling me start one. It's probably Dowdle. There's probably better bets on the waiver wire now. No problem, brother. No problem. That's what we do. I'm going to give you my vibes-based take and my analysis-based take. I'm going to try to, consolidate the two. Okay. We've got the underdog NFL news popping up. I'm going to check for any late-breaking Blazer bombs coming in 15 minutes out from kickoff. And then I'm going to finish going through the injury report consolidated list just to make sure we're not missing anything for you fine folks. And thanks again for everybody joining in. Hope it was helpful. Hope it's been helpful. Do want to note for folks that Vita Vea is out for Tampa Bay, and Denver said they want to run through the running backs to kind of get this team back on track. Javonte kind of worked as the workhorse last week, including for reception stuff. This might be a good week to start Javonte if you're in a pinch. I know it's not going to feel good. All right, we got a question coming in. Hey, I appreciate you, Best Ball on Call. Good luck. Appreciate the support. If you do have a question, doesn't have to be start sit at this point, or you just want to shoot the shit. I appreciate you though. Chad Burden asking Akers ? Very open-ended question. I'd say very live RB3, RB2 type, super solid flex option. He looked pretty efficient in the preseason. I know it's preseason, grain of salt, but I think he earned the trust of the coaching staff enough to be leaned on. You are definitely going to see Dare Ogumwale operate as kind of like a passing down back, probably a little bit more than we'd like, potentially. That said, super solid offense. The role that Mixon served is very valuable. Akers probably going to see about 65 to 75% of that, if not more. Super solid option. I'd be starting him over a lot of other dudes, at either flex or running back. I think the only guy I'd probably start above him in that like shaky-ish range, like Zach Charbonnet, for instance. I think you're starting over him just because you have more confidence about the role in the matchup than you do with Akers. But Akers, super solid. Don't be afraid. Plug him in. It's war of attrition. There aren't that many good options. I was itchy shit this morning. Lucas Baracco asking, do you believe that Pearsall and Keaton Mitchell will be relevant when they return? I will say with Pearsall, he's going to return a lot sooner. His thing was more manageable. I don't think so for a couple of reasons. One, Ricky Pearsall had a pretty bad camp. Jacob Cowing had a stronger camp. Pearsall missed time so he was drafted. They knew he had like an unstable shoulder problem that wasn't going to get better with time. They were hoping it would get better. They were hoping they could treat it, but it wasn't getting better like they hoped it would. And it's going to require surgery to like fix. Obviously, they haven't done that yet, but one bad hit and it like re-aggravates it, much like AR last year. Like they just decide we either wait 6 to 8 weeks for it to heal, and if it doesn't get more stable, then we have to have surgery. They just decided to do surgery. Obviously, it was throwing shoulder versus like catching the ball as a receiver, but kind of rough camp. Channing doesn't really care too much about draft capital when it comes to like playing dudes. It's more about like earning trust. Missing time for rookies, especially skill positions, RotoViz has historical data on saying it's pretty bad. We saw that with JMO. We saw that with Mechie. Of like, you miss a lot of time in camp early in the season. It's really hard to matter for the first couple of years. JMO bucked that trend, one of the few guys to do it, but in year 3. And by the time Pearsall is back, we expect Debo and Kittle back in the lineup, most likely. And as long as Jordan Mason isn't dead, the run game is still going to be fine. So I still have a hard time seeing how Pearsall matters, especially if Jacob Cowing does pretty decently with the next 2 weeks with some of that Debo role. Keaton Mitchell definitely could. The problem is he's gonna be about 15 to 20% production dip at minimum coming off that ACL as a burst guy late in the season. So I find it hard for him to matter unless one of Justice Hill or Derrick Henry are missing time. And then with his like athletic profile, he could late in the season, but he's more of like a fantasy playoffs dart. And even then, are they gonna like how much if Henry and Justice Hill aren't inactive? Justice Hill just got a 2-year contract extension. They trust him as like a passing down back and a change of pace guy. And so if there's 3 running backs with Lamar, what kind of value do you see there? It's a thin bet. So I don't think matter unless it's more of like a best ball spike. And then in which case they definitely could. I just think the likelihood that either does has gotten lower through the first 2 weeks of the season. I appreciate you. I appreciate if you hit like and hit subscribe. If you're hanging out, I answered your question, gave your thoughts, you like this content, hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're on the road to 4K subs. We smashed through 3K this summer. Congrats and thanks to all of us. Tom and Rich providing awesome content on DFS, Dynasty, Redraft. I'm here giving you Battle Royale on Underdog weekly, and then coming here to do your start sits. We're going to probably do some best ball resurrection drafts on Underdog Fantasy.com, platform of the people. Use promo code Sanctuary for up to $250 or $1,000 bonus cash. Anthony Escudero, welcome to the chat. Hit like, hit subscribe as I answer your question. Dubs or Mooney PPR? Gotta go Mooney. With Malik Willis, the whole passing offense, efficiency and volume is going to dip. The Tennessee defense has been much stronger through the first 2 weeks than it was last year. They should not be that challenged going against Will Levis. And with it being PPR, Mooney definitely showed Kirk Cousins started looking more comfortable as they shifted out of the pistol looks they were doing early week 1. more of like more play action week 2, more under center week 2. He looked a little bit more comfortable. Still not nearly 100% healthy as we saw, but they're going to get Mooney some easy looks. They're going to get pushed. You got to go Mooney there. Yeah, exactly. Two-year contract extension for Justice Hill. He's not going anywhere. The Keaton Mitchell thesis was that he would have kind of like this change of pace role, probably take over Justice Hill, make him just a guy, and be really bursty. The problem is it's just like coming off an ACL year 1. It's hard to do that if you're not. Your rushing efficiency is dinged, and that was his whole thing. He's very explosive, very fast, and if he's not going to catch passes, that's the way that most running backs year 1 off ACL mitigate some of that production dip, and we don't expect him to do that much since that's Justice Hill's role. But he's got contingency upside. If he comes back, he's healthy the last 3 weeks of the season, the fantasy season, and he's had no setbacks, and he's feeling good, he's feeling healthy, and his dip's not that bad, and Henry's missing, then there's volume to be had because Lamar's going to make the run game a little bit better. That said, the other thing working against him is that the O-lines looked much worse early on right now than not, and that's tough ask for a guy coming off. But yeah, right now Justice Hill through 2 weeks is out snapping Derrick Henry. That obviously includes that week 1 outlier game, where they were kind of behind, nothing was really working. He was getting a lot of passes and targets, but like 13% target shares through 2 weeks. Very noteworthy. All right, y'all. 8 minutes for kickoff. If you got any burning questions or whatever, ask them here. Appreciate everybody hanging out and enjoying the ride. Oh shit, appreciate it. I think we got another 10 subs today. Love it. Small and sure growth. We love it. Who do we think is going to burn us hard today? And why is it Zach Charbonnet? Someone that has heavy Zach Charbonnet bags. Dude, Houston might struggle a lot today. I am a little worried about it. Their offenses looked pretty out of sync and out of rhythm. Brian Flores doing his voodoo magic with like his defensive looks, and they've really stymied a lot of dudes. So it'll be a bummer whenever Nico and them kind of disappoint a little bit. It's gonna suck. I'm scouring the Pick'em lobby. See if I can there's some discounts on Flowers and Metcalf. See if I can't get it good anywhere. And I think I'm going to start doing some Pick'em stuff with the BR stuff, which also kind of turned into a start-sit stream early in the week. 5 minutes to kick off. I wish I had like a ticking... I think I have a ticking clock, actually. Let's do the ticking clock. There we go. Almost kickoff, folks. The other thing too is with Pittman is like it kind of is like late season or late week injuries, much like with Dortch with the hammy, having a calf or a back late week, not great. Which is another boost to like downs this week if you're taking that shot. Make sure you set your lineups. Make sure you didn't get too cute or fuck anything up. Don't have anybody out. Trust your gut. Trust the advice you've gotten here. Don't be a silly goose. Play with your heart. You'll never lose. What else do we have in the Pick'em lobby that I like? And we also got Ayuk. Building a slip with 5 minutes to go. This is fine saying good luck today, everyone. Happy Zamir White Day. Yes, indeed. If Zamir White does not matter, he is dead today. But yeah, if you're in desperation play for running back, I like in the similar tier of like Akers, Zamir is a worthwhile shot with that. Everyone in the Raiders is a worthwhile shot against this Carolina team for sure. Thank you, Historical Anomalies. And yes, good luck, everyone. I'll leave it open just for a few minutes. There might be someone that comes barreling in. Last time, the second we shut it down, someone had a question and we missed it. So I'm gonna stick around. You never know. You never know. Just trying to help the good people, man. That's all we're trying to do. Ooh, we got a parlay with a nice 69x. We're gonna do it. Little discount. It's always fun hanging with y'all. Do I just go full screen? Do y'all care? That's what we do, bro. We're just here to help folks. Platform of the people, man of the people. That's what we do. I just got done meal prepping some delicious gochujang cilantro tacos for lunch. Gonna crush the shit out of those, and then go do some lawn work. With headphones on and listen to all the action, baby. Refreshing to see any last minute news. Michael Pittman is active, but definitely very volatile today with the late week injury. Two minutes till midnight. I'm very excited for week 3. The injuries kind of really dampened my spirits, but I feel like this is the week where we just get back on track and keep crushing. Nothing late breaking. You love to see it. I was definitely a little scared, a little terrified. I'm doing a last minute check. The funny thing is I get to give all this advice, and then I get to make sure I'm not missing anything in my lineups. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I think this week I'm starting Akers over Waddle in PPR just because of the Skylar Thompson thing. So that's how much I trust the Akers call. But I was sitting there being like Waddle, Javonte, Akers, PPR flex. I just went with Akers. 1 minute to go. All right, I think we're good to throttle this down, close this out. Folks, thanks so much for joining. Week 3, start, sit, last minute. It was good talking through everything. Appreciate everyone hanging out, asking the questions, hitting the like, hitting the sub. Appreciate everyone. See y'all in a few days for Battle Royale, pick'ems, and some midweek start sits, injury analysis stuff. We're just going to put it all together in the same little 2 to 3 hour stream. Just give people what they need. And we'll be back next Sunday, week 4, for last minute start sits. Thanks for putting your questions in the chat. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Thanks for supporting the channel. Keep it going on. We've got a lot of awesome content. Get into the Discord. Get all that premium content, rankings, DFS lineups, dynasty rankings, trade analysis, roster reviews. We got it all. Come join us, the Fantasy Sanctuary, giving the people what they need and what they want. Good luck this week. Let's go kick off.